Hey, I'm back yet again. I was just like thinking about this and like I want to like before I get started, I need to inform, well, I don't need to, but it's like relevant to the video. I am transgender. I'm non-binary and I was assigned male at birth. So essentially, if you don't understand what that means when I was born, the doctors were like, oh, look, it's a boy, but like, bitch, they were fucking wrong because I'm not a guy or a girl, but they decided that my penis meant I was a man. So anyways, what I wanted to talk about today, because I just finished a doctor's appointment with my psychiatrist, and she finished writing my letter for me to get bottom surgery, which is like sexual reassignment surgery for your genitals. And I've explained this before, but for me, what I'm going for is a downstairs that like resembles somebody who was assigned female at birth and has been on testosterone for some time. It makes certain things down there grow, so they look a little bit different than a cisgender woman's would. And I like that kind of ambiguity. I like that it doesn't feel like so feminine. So that's what I'm going for. But anyways, so I have a lot of letters that I have to get this done, because if you also don't watch my videos, then you probably don't know, but I have cystic fibrosis and I have diabetes and I also have bipolar. So that's like nice. That's like a lot of fucking shit. So I got my letter from my CF doctors. They were like, yeah, it's all good. And then my diabetic doctor, he didn't write a letter, but he was like, if she needs to contact me or if she is concerned, like, that's totally fine. So I'll just let her know that. And if she wants a letter, I'll just be like, bitch, can you write me a letter, please? And then I need a letter from my therapist, which I received maybe like 2 weeks ago. I don't know. And then my last letter is from my psychiatrist. So she deals with my bipolar disorder, which I was recently diagnosed with. So it's kind of new, but it's not super like severe and like ruining my life yet. Like, who knows? Maybe it'll like fuck up later on. But for now, it's like manageable. I am on medication for it. But I'm actually glad I have a psychiatrist, because I guess she was saying that people who have bipolar are very sensitive to hormonal changes, which is going to be a whole wild ride with surgery, which actually that's part of what I want to get into. But anyways, the last letter that I need is my letter from my psychiatrist, and she finished writing it. We just had our appointment. She's going to send it out today because it was over the video, so she couldn't like just hand it to me. But she's going to send it, and then I'll have it, and then I'll be able to send all my letters to the surgeon that I would like to do my surgery, and then yeah, it'll be fucking great. But what I wanted to talk about was like, I don't know if this is like, anyways, what I wanted to talk about is like, I guess sort of like expectations, like not like, I mean, I already talked about what I want it to look like, but I kind of want to talk about like preparing for surgery and stuff like that, because I'm trying to get it in my head a certain way, and I'll explain what I'm talking about. But I also want all of you to know that if there's something that you think that you could share with me, like, oh, like make sure you prepare for this, or make sure that you're thinking about this, or like whatever, I would like to hear your input, because I want to go into this surgery as prepared as I can, and it's kind of a really scary surgery. I mean, not like really scary, but it's very invasive, so it's not like I've never had anything this dramatic done to my body. So let's just get into it. So something that I see, or I don't know if this is actually like how people are trying to portray it, but like the kind of thing that I hear a lot is almost like a happy-go-lucky, like, oh, I'm gonna get surgery and then everything's gonna be fine and like stuff like that. And I guess for some people, like, that might be how it works, and, like, that's fine. But there's just, like, a lot of mental things that I want to prepare for. So the first thing, and like, I also want, hold on. I also wanted to share this because I want, if anyone else is going into probably any kind of surgery, but especially like trans-related surgeries, it might, like, I might have things that, like, it's good for you to think about, or like whatever, like, I don't know, like, I feel like I should like put this out here so that like other people can understand too, or like whatever. So yeah, so bottom surgery is very invasive, and not only that, but when you wake up, your body is different, which isn't a bad thing. That's what I want. But I am like, concerned is kind of like maybe not the right word, but I'm like thinking, I'm trying to I figure out how well I know myself in terms of like, how am I gonna react, how am I gonna feel after this, all this stuff. And like, I think I've come to the conclusion that like in the long run I'm gonna love it, but I think at first it's gonna be really hard, because like, I know it depends on the person and it depends on the way that they deal with dysphoria, but for me, like, my dysphoria is not good, especially over my genitals specifically. And I like can't, like, I don't feel hatred toward it, but I feel 100% disconnected from it. Like, I'll like see it and I'm like, huh? Like, why is it there? So like, getting rid of it makes sense, because every time I see it, I'm like questioning why it's like, it shouldn't even be there, right? I usually don't have, I mean, sometimes I'll have moments or whatever where I'm like freaking out about it. Those are not fun, but they're also few and far between. But overall, I don't feel connected to it. It causes a lot of issues, especially when it comes to sex. I typically don't really let people touch me down there, which like is okay, but I would like to have sex where I can like feel something good. Anyways, when I envision myself in the future, I do not have a penis. I've always envisioned myself like that, even before I knew that I envisioned myself like that. Like, all the things that I was like drawn to growing up were always these like super androgynous people, and they were all assigned female at birth, and like, I liked that. Like, I just know there's a certain type of person that I've seen my whole life, and every time I see them, I get this like feeling that's like, that's me. And that is the, you know, whatever. What I'm most worried, well, one concern that I have, I was saying about how, I mean, people in general, but I guess also people with bipolar, or they're more sensitive to hormonal changes. So what's gonna happen before surgery, I'm like pretty sure, because I'm pretty sure they always do this, that they're going to take me off of my hormones. I don't know if it's just the estrogen, or if it's the estrogen and the testosterone blocker. I can probably deal with the lack of estrogen, because I've done that before where I've run out and I've just had my T blocker and I'm like, okay. Because like, honestly, in theory, I would just like to not have any hormones in me anyways. But it's not healthy for your bones and stuff like that. But I've had it the other way where I have estrogen and I run out of my T blocker and I go fucking insane. Like, I am so anxious, so all over the place, so angry, like infuriated over nothing. Like, it's just, oh my god, it's awful. So I'm really worried about that, because typically I'm pretty sure it's between 2 weeks and 4 weeks that you go off your medicine. So what I'm wondering, I'm gonna talk to my therapist. Oh, that was the other letter. I had to get a letter from my hormone doctor, but I already got that. But anyways, I'm gonna talk to my therapist and see if like it would be a good idea to slowly taper off of them before surgery. Like, so like if I can't take any hormones, let's say for 4 weeks before surgery, would it be smart to let's say 2 months before surgery, I start tapering down my hormones so that it's like slow shifts, you know? and then I'll just be super dysphoric because I'll have a bunch of testosterone in me, but I'll still like remain more like level. I don't know if that would be a better idea. So I want to talk to my therapist and see what she says. But that's a major concern that I have, because I know how I've been and it's not good. But also, you know what? Maybe I can just figure out, maybe there's some other medicine that can like help reduce my anxiety or something that will like help with it, because it's the anxiety that gets me. So that's the first thing. So then you have surgery, and then you wake up and your body is different. And it's not just like, oh, I'm missing my pinky. It's like, every time I sit down, it's gonna hurt until it heals. When I'm laying there, when I try to move, after about a week after surgery, they take out the packaging inside your vagina, and then you have to do what's called dilation, which is basically you put a professional dildo inside your vagina to keep it from closing up. And you have to do it several times a day, and then like, you know, maybe like a month or two later, then you do it a little bit less, and like over time you taper off of it, but you still do it forever. But eventually it can go down, I think usually to like once a week, so it's like definitely manageable. But oh, and not only that, but after surgery, it's gonna be fucking swollen as shit. Like, it's just gonna look ugly. And like, I know that, but I'm really worried that I'm gonna see it and I'm gonna panic. Even though like, I know. So I've already like made a list of shit for my friends to like remind me so I don't go like crazy. But I'm like still concerned. And the next thing is, even once it heals, like let's say it heals, it looks perfect, whatever, I still think there's gonna be a big adjustment period to me feeling connected to my body, which might be strange, and like maybe that won't happen, I don't know. But I feel like I hear it so many times that like, oh my god, like right after surgery I just like felt so like myself and like all this stuff, but like I just think I'm gonna panic, because I panic at commitment with anything. So I think there's gonna, and it's not that the decision is wrong, because I know this is the decision that I need, because I've been wanting it my whole life. I remember being devastated when I thought a few years back I was really sick and with my CF, and I didn't think I was ever gonna get better, and I couldn't have surgery because of it, and I was like, my life is ruined. Like, I mean, not my whole life, but I was like, what the fuck, you know? It was like awful. I remember being like devastated. So like, I know that I want this, but I know this happens with every time I commit to anything. I panic that, oh my god, I don't want to commit, that's it. And so I know I'm gonna go through that, and like that's kind of sad and also scary, because like I don't want to go through that. I know that sex afterwards is gonna be something I have to warm up to. Like, it's just like a lot of stuff that I'm trying to mentally prepare for, because whenever I see people talking about like different transgender surgeries, like, and I'm not saying that people are lying by saying this or anything like that, but like I very rarely hear people talking about the like process of like dealing with this, because not to mention there's, I think it's called post-surgical depression, and this isn't just for trans people, this is like in general. When you get a surgery, sometimes people just get really depressed because your body's like all different, or like it was like invaded by these like random fucking people. Like, your body doesn't know what the fuck is going on. So that, and then on top of like my fear of commitment, and then like all that kind of stuff, and like I'm ready to commit, but I just know I'm ready when I process it logically. I'm 100% ready, but I know I'm gonna have extreme emotions. That's what I'm trying to say. So I'm like, I don't want to say like concerned, because that makes it sound like, oh my god, I'm like regretting it or something, and like that's not it. Like, I know in the long run I'm gonna be so fucking happy that I can just like have sex without having to think about dysphoria, and I can just like look down in the shower, like not feel disconnected. But it's like it literally looks, I was explaining it to somebody, or maybe I said it on here, I don't remember. But like, I feel like I'm like, well, not Mr. Potato Head, because I'm not a guy, but like, I don't know, like Potato Head. And like, you know, like you can just take things off. Like, that's how I feel about it down there. Like it's not like even an issue that it's there, but it is because I feel like I should just be able to take it off and then be fine. So it's like weird. I don't know. I don't know. Hopefully that like resonates with some of you. Or maybe not. I don't fucking know. Whatever. But yeah, that's how I'm feeling. And I am feeling scared, and I am feeling nervous. And it's like one of those things, like, especially with the whole trans thing, like, people, from what I've seen with a lot, maybe not everyone, obviously, but like with a lot of people who are not trans, they're kind of like, if they're skeptical of what it means to be trans and that like people really can be trans and like stuff like that, I see a lot of like, they're kind of waiting for a moment where you're not happy or you question things or you doubt things. Like, they're waiting for a reason to tell you why you're not really trans or why you're wrong or like whatever, which like is shitty. But it's like one of those things, but it's like so awful because then it's like so many times I see people who, and I'm not blaming the people, like I'm blaming like the assholes that don't believe that people know themselves, but I see people, and I went through this too, where like you feel like you have to prove something to somebody. So then when you have these feelings of like oh, like I need this surgery, but I'm a little nervous or I'm a little worried, they take that and they're like, that's because you're not really trans and blah 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 and you should detransition and blah, like whatever. And it's like frustrating because like I feel okay, they're like, I know who I am and other people can say what they want and whatever, but sometimes like it depends on the person. Sometimes people get in their heads and then it's like, well, since I'm doubting it, does that mean that I don't want it? But like if you think about anything, it's very rare that people don't doubt any of their decisions ever. You know what I mean? Like somebody can doubt like, oh my god, what if I shouldn't get married? But it's just panic. It doesn't necessarily mean that you shouldn't get married. It just means that you're panicking because it's a really big decision. And that's how I feel. It's like a really big decision and I'm okay that I'm gonna panic. I'm prepared for panicking. My friends are prepared for panicking. They're gonna pick me up when I'm freaking out. And I'm kind of also preparing for the worst. Like, I mean, that's what I do with like my whole life, because like just like no expectations. Yeah, like no expectations, but like I mean I do have some, obviously, like hopefully I won't fucking die or like whatever. Hopefully it'll look like how I want it to look, hopefully it'll work, like things like that. But like when it comes to me and my body, there's gonna be a huge adjustment, probably a long adjustment period, where I'm getting used to my new body. And I don't hear other trans people talking about that. And it might be because most of the trans people that I follow, the surgery that they get is top surgery, where they remove their breasts. And maybe that's a different like feeling or like whatever. Although honestly, if you see my other videos, you already know this, but like I want to get rid of mine too, because I basically just want to look fucking androgynous. And like I have the same feelings with that I do about my downstairs. So I don't know, maybe I just feel differently, or maybe other people just aren't saying it or whatever. I don't know, but I just wanted to make a video and like just talk about my feelings and my expectations and my like thoughts and my worries, and like if any of you have any ideas like about like me going off of hormones beforehand and like all that, or like how to like kind of retrain your brain to like accept the fact that your body is different now, or like whatever, like if any of you have any like advice, I guess that's the word, advice, thoughts, comments, even questions, that's fine. I don't have like a bajillion followers or subscribers or whatever. Subscribe down below. But I don't really have like a lot of people. I think it's like not even 200, but so I'm like always able to like respond to things usually pretty quickly. So if you have anything to say, I mean, don't be a dick, but like if you have anything productive to say or any questions or you're trying to understand something or whatever, obviously leave it down below, or I will leave a link in my description like I always do, it's like a link that has all my like different social media and stuff. So I would say if you go on Instagram, you can message me if you have Instagram. I'm not like super thorough about that, but I am like more thorough than like I don't go on Twitter or like things like that. So yeah, but I hope you all are having a really good day. It's like really gross and rainy here. I mean, like, I guess rain is good. I need to stop being a bitch, but like, ugh, I like the sun. Hence why I have the sun on my arm. Alright. Also, I need to clean my room, but luckily I was able to film this video without any of you seeing how absolutely fucking disgusting it is. Alright. Well, I hope you all have a nice day.